dear friends. Welcome again to another study of God's Word. This week we are looking at God is Faithful. My name is Dwain Esmond, and I want to thank God for you. It is always a joy to work with you and study with you through the week, through our adult Bible study guide, and all the wonderful blessings God has poured out on us over the course of this study this quarter. This book has been magnificent. To just go back and look at where God has brought us from. It's been amazing. We're in week 12. God is faithful. Let's look at our memory text. Our memory text says, not one word of all the good promises that the Lord had made to the house of Israel had failed. All came to pass. Not a single promise that God made had failed. You know, when people come to the end of their lives or when they're beginning a huge leadership journey, they tend to speak things that are really meaningful. They lay out their plans. They speak to their highest aspirations and their greatest goals. They remind us of the things that are important. And this lesson really captures that aspect of Joshua's ministry. He's aged now. He's older now, wiser than he probably has ever been. He's distilling in this moment all of the things he's learned about God and all the journey he's been through. He's delivering to the Israelites critical information that will bless them for generations to come. Joshua says, listen, not a single thing that God has said has not come to pass. Let's look at Sunday's lesson together, all right? Let's look at Sunday's lesson. All came to pass. And that takes us to Joshua chapter 21, verses 43 to 45. These verses are absolutely breathtaking when you read them. So the Lord gave to Israel all the land of which he had sworn to give to their fathers, and they took possession of it and dwelt in it. The Lord gave them rest all around according to all that he had sworn to their fathers, and not a man of all their enemies stood against them. The Lord delivered all their enemies into their hand. Not a word failed of any good thing which the Lord had spoken to the house of Israel. All came to pass. Just think about that for a minute. Imagine everything that God ever said to you coming to pass. That God does and did and will do everything he has promised that he would do. To the Israelites, he's saying to them in no uncertain terms, Joshua's saying to them, you know, God hasn't failed us in any way. He gave us rest on every side. Can you imagine? Rest on every side of your life. In your home, rest. On your job, rest. As you go and come, in your social life, in your health and wellness, in every way blessed. God gave them peace, even though they had not always been faithful. God is the one who is faithful. In just these three words, 6 times the Bible uses the word all or kol. That word means and reminds us that the success of God's people was not due to anything that they had done. God had done it. It was God who fought the battles for them, even though they were never really meant to fight any battles. Coming out of the Exodus, experience in Egypt, God was supposed to fight for them. They got into trouble because sometimes they tried to take things into their own hands, or their unfaithfulness led them into jeopardy. But even then, God's mercy, God's grace, remember AI a few weeks ago? God's mercy and God's grace still comes to them, still directs them. You know, the same thing is true of our salvation. Ephesians 2, 8-10 tells us that by grace we have been saved through faith, that not of ourselves. It is the gift of God. It is not of works, lest any man should boast. Even our salvation was accomplished completely by God. That's our study today. God is faithful, and everything he says will come to pass.